Who are you? Isn't that the most fundamental question you could ask? How do you answer such a deep question? I believe you have to go all the way back to the beginning, to Genesis. See, if God creates, then you are a prized sculpture, a work of art. You are also a creator in the image of God who creates. But if all of this just happened through a series of cosmic accidents, then, well, doesn't that just make you an accident? Just looking for something interesting to attach your identity to, wandering aimlessly, seeking pleasure and fulfillment? You see, respecting the beginning matters. If you respect the beginning, you respect a creator who makes you who you are. But Genesis has fallen on bad times. I've met many people who've given up on God's explanation of creation as too primitive or limiting or not scientific enough. Today, I want to give you some reasons to respect Genesis. In so doing, help you gain back some of your own precious identity. The first reason I want to give you to respect Genesis is because the Genesis account tracks our available evidence. See, the idea that the universe has a beginning, that's from Genesis. See, the normal thinking was that everything has always existed, like it's in a steady state, everything's just eternal. But the idea that the universe had a beginning, that's from Genesis. Genesis also describes light as the first of all creation. But this concept of light not being fundamental wasn't obvious. 5th and 6th century BC Hindus saw light as something like we think of atoms today, very fundamental to everything, but always existing. Aristotle in the 5th century thinking was similar. He thought of everything as being created through 4 fundamental elements of air, water, fire, and earth. But all these 4 elements were always eternally existing. See, Genesis said everything was made, and it was man and his explanations that got it. In addition, our available evidence shows that the universe was created at a specific time. Well, the fact that the universe started at a certain time, this can only be explained by a personality choosing this time versus another time. See, if you have an infinite mathematical understanding of the universe, you can't explain why the universe started when it did. All you're left with is continuous cycles of creation followed by destruction, creation followed by destruction. But the idea that the universe just started at a certain time requires a personality to intervene and start it. So we see the available evidence is that's exactly what's shown when we look at how the universe was started. The Genesis record tracks our available evidence when it comes to the fossil record also. Stephen Jay Gould, a prominent archaeologist, has said the extreme rarity of transitional forms in the fossil record persists as the trade secret of paleontology. The evolutionary trees that adorn our textbooks have data only at the tips and at the nodes of their branches. The rest is inference, however reasonable, not the evidence of fossils. We also see in what's called the Precambrian explosion, just that the earliest forms of life just all of a sudden appear. There's no transitions, there's nothing but just a sudden onslaught of a large variety of animalia. And what this shows us is, once again, is consistent with what Genesis tells us, that God created everything we see. The second reason I want to give you to respect Genesis, the Genesis account also fits our modern. The third reason I want to give you to respect the Genesis. Okay, so I've given you 3 reasons to respect Genesis.